Welcome to New York City, where we're getting ready to document a beautiful engagement session. I have to be honest, there was a time in which I came here to shoot an engagement session and felt absolutely clueless. And in this video, I'm gonna make sure that you're not that photographer. You're gonna be prepared for a successful engagement session. In this video, I'm going to give you my top tips for documenting a successful session, as well as my top 10 personal favorite locations for shooting a beautiful session and how to make magic in this gorgeous city that never sleeps. So be sure to like and subscribe so that we know that you want more education just like this supporting you on to your thriving business. And hey, by the way, if you do want a thriving business, I got a link in the description, free training. The bomb. Wish I had it when I first started. Snag your free seat and I'll see you there. But without further ado, let's document a beautiful engagement session. Let's go. It is 6 a.m. The things you do for an engagement session in New York City, right? So first up, let's get some coffee. So here we are, we're in New York City. Right behind me is Central Park, which is our first location. And I've shot a few engagement sessions here and there. One thing that I have learned over the years is that first tip, okay, is you need to select your locations and be very specific, because there's so many spots that you can go to in New York and you're not going to be able to do all of them. So I would recommend picking between 2 to 3 locations that narrow in and simplify. If you want to do more than that, then you're going to need more than one day. I know today one of my goals is I want to play with light. I really want to be creative with light. One of those things is noticing shadows, noticing when the light is hitting the walls and, you know, just playing with it. So we're in transition to our next location, and this is a great point for me to make right now, is make sure that you are dressed for New York. You need good walking shoes, but you also want to look professional, which is why I'm not in just jeans and a t-shirt, right? Like, I want to look the part, represent the brand, but also I want to get the job done. And that's a wrap. I feel so good about the session and I am so excited to get the photos to our couple. And one reason that I think it was so successful is just because I know the locations that we chose so intimately. And that brings me to my next tip for you. Make sure that you scout your locations in advance on a separate occasion. If you can, it is ideal to go a day in advance, so that you're not doing it on the exact same day that you're going to be doing the shoot, because that can be a lot of pressure. So if it's your first time in New York, come a couple days early, at least a day early, check out the location around the same time of day you're gonna be shooting, and you're gonna be doing yourself a favor. Now my next tip, kind of along with this, is check the location. Some of these parks have events, and some of these locations you're gonna need a permit. So do your homework, make sure that it's gonna work out for you and your couple. And last but not least in my tips is to embrace the people. Whenever I first started shooting here in New York City, I was all caught up with making sure it was the most epic photo and no distractions in the background. I'm definitely a perfectionist, and I think a lot of us photographers are. But when you're in the city, part of the vibe and the essence and the heart of the city is the people. So yes, come early for your shoot. Try to get the shots without people. But once people start coming, embrace it, you know, let them pass. Don't stop if people are gonna cross. Just let it all happen and see what you get. It's always gonna be better than you could have imagined. Now I got one more thing I want to tell you. Let's talk about the top locations. I love West Village. West Village is really quaint. It's more of a neighborhood energy. It's a little more cozy. It's a really fun place to shoot at. My next top location is Soho. Soho is where a lot of the most popular shops are. There's a little bit more of the city vibe, but still having really beautiful buildings that have really nice architecture. The look is very unique compared to being in the heart of the city. It still kind of has some of that culture and just the textures that come from like West Village, I would say. And you see this throughout the entire city, but Soho definitely has its own look. Next is Brooklyn Bridge. We all know and love Brooklyn Bridge. It is quintessential New York, but the catch is if you want to shoot on that location, you must do that location at sunrise. And as I said before, a lot of these are best shot on sunrise, but this is one of those like you must be at sunrise. There's so many people that cross this bridge on a daily basis. Next is a really awesome spot where you can get a view of Brooklyn Bridge, and that is a location called Dumbo. You are essentially on the water with the bridge in the background. It's so dreamy and very, very dynamic, with the bridge appearing so very large in scale with the city in the background. I love that one as well. Next up is Central Park. Of course, we all know and love Central Park. I specifically love Beth Saba, if I'm saying that correctly. There's a fountain and a terrace there. You can't go wrong with that location, and it is absolutely stunning. Another location that I love is New York Library, but I might have found this one out the hard way. You better make sure you got a permit, okay, or else it ain't gonna happen for you. But I love the New York Library because it feels like you're stepping into Europe. The coloring is gonna give you beautiful skin tones and just the dynamic height of the arches. There's so much repetition and just, man, it's one of those places when you see it, you know that that location is something on your bucket list when you come to New York, because it truly is one of a kind. Next is The Edge. It is a newer location that is a rooftop spot where you can document your couples out on the roof. I love doing this one at nighttime when the city is really glowing, and it can kind of test your photography skills and push you out of your comfort zone and try something that might be not natural light, you know, kind of nighttime stuff. So that was really fun to use that location. And another rooftop is, what is it called? Top of the Rock is what they call it. And it is a beautiful building. It was where everyone went before The Edge. And the location has a little bit more of that European vibe as well. The Edge is a little bit more modern and sleek. Top of the Rock, there's some beautiful arches and some elements of that location that are a little bit more timeless and romantic and kind of, again, that European vibe. Up next is Hudson Yards. This is a little bit more industrial. There's some really fun pieces out there that you can use. It's not my absolute favorite. It's probably lower down the list, but I think it is worth adding here. Definitely check that one out. Last but not least is Washington Square Park. Again, European vibes, I just love. So anytime you see that kind of touch in New York City, you know I'm gonna be the one raving about it. And so at this location, it reminds me of Champs-Élysées, if I'm saying that correctly. It's a street in Paris where all the shopping is, and they have a very similar arch at that location in Paris. So of course, I naturally love this gorgeous arch that is stone with beautiful carvings on it. It is timeless and fun to frame your clients in, and it's something that is gonna look good every single time. And now that you know my top tips for shooting in New York, along with my top locations, I'm gonna go ahead and hang out in the city and enjoy the pool. I hope that you have an amazing New York session. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next